And get us started. So, hey everyone, Coaches Out for Change. It's Dee Corchin coming to you on August 29th. Glad so many of us are here, and I know lots are signing on as we're finishing up the month of August. We're coming to the close of another month, getting ready to head into September. So just want to remind you of a couple quick things. Final days of the month, so much opportunity to continue to share our story, to continue to follow up with those that haven't been, haven't said yes yet, to touch base with inactive clients, make sure we're providing great quality support to our current clients. And a lot can happen in the last 2 days of the month. So really encourage you to finish strong, and that also, keeping that momentum is how we start strong in September. And then remind you that our Coach Accelerator bonus ends on August 31st. So those coach kits have to be submitted by 11:59 p.m. So if you've got people that are considering it, I've seen quite a few people sign up today. That it's perfect timing to get them rolling. And a couple of things I wanted to let you know, on the second Tuesday of every month, we are going to do a sneak peek into coaching live. Second Tuesday of every month, our leadership team is going to alternate and do a sneak peek into coaching right after the community call. We're getting great feedback on that, touching on those common fears and having different stories of our clients who have become coaches. So mark your calendar, because it's always great to be able to invite somebody to a live event. But the other thing is we're going to have a great library of coaches. And so you'll be like, I want her to see, so-and-so's story. So that'll be great. And then tomorrow night on our community time, Meg Johnson, you guys all know Meg. Meg is a former financial planner, and she has a master's in personal finance and has really been on her heart to speak to our clients about the importance of healthy finances. Not with a gloss over healthy finances, hey, become a coach, but a really why does it truly make a difference in our health? And so she is coming from her heart with her knowledge. I just think it's kind of cool the way the worlds are colliding. So you'll want to be on that. Invite your clients tomorrow night at 8 p.m. for the community call. And then we've got our final session of stepping into coaching on Thursday night at 8. These have been great. And we have Shauna and Frank going to talk about the importance and show how to do effective follow-up, and also how to provide great quality, simple client support. So that's going to be super fun. And the last thing as a reminder before we get going is Awaken 2022. This is our leadership conference. I just posted about it. We are getting so stinking excited for this. It is open to anyone who has qualified as an executive director or higher since anytime in 2022, including we've got a couple people racing for it. Congratulations to Danny and Edie Sarles. They just qualified over the weekend and registered. They were going for it. So that's super exciting that they were able to reach their goals and be able to go to, and we've got personal development, business development, and just most importantly, community and fun, and 62 people. So, convention is thousands. This is our intimate group. So I cannot wait. So we've been talking about a lot of fun topics lately, a lot of really pertinent topics. And tonight's topic is on overcoming our excuses to achieve our dreams. And we know, there's going to be so many parallels to our clients. And I'm hoping that what you take away tonight, you will not only be able to look at in the mirror for yourself, maybe with your own personal journey, maybe with your coaching journey, but also be able to use it and with your clients as well, right? So if you know me and I follow Dan Bell, maybe we'll put it in the chat. What is the formula for success with Optavia? What plus what plus what? Maybe pop it in the chat. Does anybody know? Mindset, motivation, and skills. Yep. So it's really mindset, right? Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right? That's a quote. Our motivation is our dream. That is our goal. And we have to be crystal clear on that. That is just like our clients, right? When the vision is clear and you have passion, I'm going to read you a quote. If you have passion, There is no need for excuses because your enthusiasm will trump any negative reasoning you might come up with. Enthusiasm makes excuses a non-issue. Now, I do not think there's ever a coincidence. And what I do in Facebook, I'm active on Facebook, is I check my memories. And on Saturday, as I was thinking about this call, a Facebook Live that I did in 2018, which was a turning point in my Optavia business. I did a Facebook Live. And I spoke about this and starting to get rid of some of my excuses. So wish me luck. I want to watch it because I do not think I could regurgitate the information any better than in this. It is a 5-minute video, but bear with me. Fingers crossed technology will work because I'm excited to share it. If I get it going and it's not working, like somebody unmute and say like, we can't hear it. Good morning. I am actually sitting here for a minute. I'm waiting for something to cook and my timer is on for 5 minutes. So I thought, well, let me just go ahead and let this thought out of my head. And it has to do with owning our stuff, right? Owning whatever it is within us that might be the thing that's holding us back. And I just wanted to go back a little bit. Earlier this year, I shared about my word of the year, which is the word courage. And I started a few years ago. I had shared a video on this, but a few years ago I learned about, through a workshop I took, the power of one word. And it's really about the power of intention and kind of knowing what you want and the direction you want to head. And of course, the new year is always a good time to look at that sort of thing, but really knowing what it is. And so I had decided for 2018, I was kind of struggling, but I decided that my word was going to be growth. And it was really related to my business. I've shared with you how much I absolutely love what I do. And in fact, this morning I was just taking a look in our back office, and between myself and our coaches, we have helped over 2,500 something people to better health physically. And that's amazing. That is amazing. But do you know how many more millions of people need this kind of freedom in their life and being able to gain control of their physical health? But what I've had such great joy doing lately is helping coaches. And helping coaches help the people that they want to help, but more importantly, help those coaches build the business that they want so that moms can be home with their kids. People can leave their corporate jobs and actually have a job that gives them fulfillment and meaning and purpose and the income and the time that they're looking for. That's huge, you guys. And so my gift and what I want in my heart is to give that to everybody, right? So that's going to require me not just to be a health coach, not just to be a business coach, but to be a business leader. And so I realized I needed to grow, right? That was something I was going to have to grow into. But then a word was presented to me. It was actually presented to me from a friend, and it kept rattling around in my head, and I couldn't let it go. And it was the word courage. And when I put thought to it, I thought, you know what? It takes courage to grow. When I work with my clients and they want to give up, they want to go back to those defaults and those lies and those stories that they've said in their head over and over, those same things that have let them down before and that they haven't been able to push through. My goal as their coach is to help them work through it, right? That's what I do as a coach, is help them go from where they are to where they want. And when that stuff shows up, that stuff, right? We got to own our stuff. That stuff shows up, help move through it. But guess what? I got my stuff too, right? And sometimes we can't see our own stuff, and we pretend our own stuff isn't there, and it's somebody else's fault, or it's something else. And I tend to compartmentalize and push things aside, and then just keep doing business as usual, kind of hoping, wishing things would change. So I hired a personal coach back in February, and this was really, a business coach, but it was a little bit different because this is a business coach that actually uses some different tools to really get into our habits, our thoughts, those things that are happening under the surface, those self-limiting beliefs that we have. That's the stuff that we've got to become aware of and then be able to work through. So through this process, and you've seen some of it in my post, I have learned this is so much more than being a business leader. This is really figuring out what's going on in my head and what's going on in my heart. And we're starting to reveal some stuff. And I have to own it.
I don't really want to. And it was actually a short window of time. I was actually avoiding my coach for about 5 weeks because I did not want to go there. I did not want to own it. But after a conversation and honestly a lot of crying and a lot of realization, he's pointed out to me like that's the challenge. That's what I have got to work through that is going to help me show up as I need to show up to be the leader that I need to be able to connect to people, to be better understand them. And this is in my personal relationships. This is in my marriage. This is in my relationship with my kids. This is in relationship with my friends. This is something because of what's going on in here that I have carried, and it's like in every area of my life. So that's where I got to go. Like that's what I have to work on. And we all have our stuff. You've got these things, these thoughts that are going on in your head, and we got to work through it. We got to first own it. And I'm telling you, you probably can't do it by yourself, right? So if it's something with your physical health or whatever, I would love to talk to you, have a conversation with you about what that could look like. But I just want you to sit on this for a minute, just a minute. Don't think about it too hard, and take some action and take that step in getting some accountability and somebody who can really objectively help you look at your life, what you want, and see what you can't see in the mirror, and get you to own your stuff. Make it a great week, you guys. Thanks.
All right. How about them bangs? Were you looking at me like so retro? But wow, like, right, I watched that. Now I want to tell you something. This is when I made the decision, like what I wanted, which I was afraid of for a long time, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But did you hear me when I said, and this is not for comparison, I want you to hear what changed. I said in that video, that was a Facebook Live, I said we had helped as a team 2,500 people. 4 years later and 2 days later, so 4 years and 2 days later, as a team, we have helped 19,699 people. Y'all, I got goosebumps. I got goosebumps. Now I got to tell you, I mean, like, where our excuses come from, my opinion is, the underlying thing is fear. And fear shows up in so many different ways in our life, right? It can be fear of failure, right? So we don't push ourselves too hard in case, because if you don't really try and you don't make that goal, then it doesn't hurt as bad, but it does, right? Or in my case, it was fear of success, right? Fear of success. What would it require of me, etc. I had some imposter syndrome. And I had some junk in my past. And I thought, oh my gosh, like if people could get to know the real me, like, oh my gosh, like I'm just going to keep this wall up, and that's what I had to get in and dig through some junk that was in there. Fear of not knowing what to do, fear of the unknown, and also fear of giving up the familiar. We tend to do this weird thing that even though we don't like where we are, our brains are so comfortable there that we keep defaulting and we make up, there was a quote, I loved it. It said, excuses are lies wrapped up as reasons. We can rationalize ourselves through anything. So I want to have you listen to Bonnie Rosengold. Bonnie just had a little epiphany and movement in her and what she's doing. So Bonnie, if you'll come on for a second and kind of talk about this, maybe what were your reasons and excuses and what's happening?
Thanks, Dee. Yeah, I've gone through a very similar thing just in the last week. And my gut was screaming at me. And I work 2 jobs and coaching and just, feeling very unhappy about it. And so I took some time, quiet time, some meditation, and I coached myself. And I identified what you were just talking about, Dee, which is fear. And I said, well, what is the fear? And it was about not getting what I wanted. And of course, the fear of coming out of my little comfort zone, my fear of trusting that I would be taken care of no matter what, that the divine, that the universe support me, that I wasn't going to explode and die if I gave notice to one of those jobs. I've been exchanging my time for a paycheck for over 56 years. And big, really big, when I said no to something that isn't working for me anymore, that's not taking me on my highest path. And by saying no to that, it was like this huge yes to me. And I just have had so much energy and so much joy having done that. And I had to take some actions to get there. You know, I had to reach out to the 2 supervisors from these 2 different companies and just straighten it out, you know, and putting my order to nature. I had a girlfriend who ran a success company, and she used to say, you know, if you don't order in the Spiegel catalog on page 7, the yellow dress, guess what? It's not going to come to your front door. You got to put in your order to life. And so, you know, you can go for what you think you can get, or you can go for what you want. And so I started that process, and my energy and my excitement and my enthusiasm, you know, has just exploded. And I'm still a little nervous. It's okay because it's still in motion, and you know, I don't know what it's going to look like yet, but I feel so much more freedom. So I really faced that fear and said, hey, I got goals for myself, and I'm not going to get to them by doing it the same old way.
That is awesome, Bonnie. Congratulations.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
what got you here won't take you there, right? And I
Right.
wrote down your quote, you can go for what you think you can get, or you can go for what you want,
Right.
right? So as we're looking at this, right, and as we're looking at our reasons, our excuses, the fear, you know, some of the ways that fear shows up, and this, think about this with your clients and all that, it can show up as busy, right? And so often I see coaches, our lives are hectic. Most of us are starting this because we want a path to something else. But we get we're sucked into the whirlwind, the storm, the cyclone that's going around us, and we stay stuck in what we don't want. And we have, you know, all these competing, you know, priorities, whereas Optavia is our way out, right? So maybe you're doing that. Maybe it's the kids, it's the job, it's the whatever. Distraction, right? Have you ever noticed, like, suddenly taking out the garbage can seem more important than making that follow-up phone call, right? We get distracted, right? That's really fear, but it gets masked, like, oh, I've got to get this garbage out. It's garbage day, you know? So whatever it might be. Procrastination. How often do we hear this? As soon as Labor Day weekend is over, as soon as the kids are back in school, as soon as, you know what I mean? We hear it with our clients, but we do it too, right? As soon as life settles down, as soon as we get back from the beach, as soon as, you know, avoidance, just not doing the things we know will make our, you know, make the difference in our business. I was overworking and focusing on the wrong things. I was just doing, but that wasn't what was going to get me there. And then perfectionism. Ooh, any former recovering perfectionist, right? Getting ready to get ready, right? Can't do it till we know how to do it, right? Which we're only going to know how to do it when we start doing it. So there's so many different things. So what I want to do is I'm going to break us into breakout rooms just for probably about eight minutes. We'll do it 8 to 10. Yeah, about 8 minutes, and about 3 or 4 of us in a room. I'll pop the questions in there, but if you want to write them down, I want you to think about your dream. Don't talk about your dream here. I really want you to work with your coach on your dream and what it is you really want. And that's going to take some time, but I want you to name your underlying fear. What is it that you're how does it show up for you as your excuse? And then what do you need to do next? So as you spin out into the breakout rooms, what we'll see is you'll, invite you to join a room. Whoever has the shortest hair, start. Okay. And each person will have about 2 to 3 minutes to share. And then the room will end and we'll come back together with it. Okay. If you can't figure out what you're doing, come back. I'll still be here. Okay. So here we go. Give me 1 second.
So timely right now.
Yeah, it was super powerful. I was in a room with all one brand, really all pretty new coaches. So
Mm.
I know, Dee, I felt like a little bit like a grandma in there.
It's good. They needed your wisdom.
Well, I don't know about that. I just could definitely relate to their fears for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Closing all the rooms. People will be back.
You're pretty high tech doing all that. I'm just going to tell you.
Getting all
I don't think-
fancy, right?
I didn't do
Kind-
all of that when I was teaching last year during the pandemic. I was struggling.
Yeah. Hallelujah. It worked. Yeah. Everybody's coming back. We'll see if it worked. I was able to even pause the recording while you guys were gone. So anybody who watches it doesn't have that, 10-minute break in between. So we'll see how that works. So, all right, as everybody's coming back, we've got a minute or two. Put a 1 in the chat. Was that a powerful experience? Like to be able to kind of own your ugly and say it out loud? Awesome. And I would like just somebody who feels moved by this, that it's helped them. Just raise your hand or just come off mute. We're getting kind of at the end of our time, but I would love maybe just somebody to share their experience. What did you discover about yourself? And what did this do for you? Lauren, go ahead.
I think it was really cool because in my group we had 4 of us, and one of us was a brand new coach. One had been coaching for a couple of years. One had been coaching for a few months, and then myself. And it was just really interesting that at different phases of our journey, a lot of our fears are similar. And so I think sometimes it's just refreshing to know that we're not alone in what we feel. And then it was really cool because we all were kind of coaching each other, no matter, where we were at in the business. And so just was really encouraging. And actually, I realized my biggest fear used to be time. And now that this is what I'm doing full time, my biggest fear is judgment. And so it was really interesting to see that switch. And yet it's the time that I feel the most confident in the business and in what's been possible, but still that fear of what are people thinking of me in posting or in reaching out to people. So just trying to lean into boldness more.
Wow, that's fascinating. And that's something, and thank you for sharing that and out loud, because many of us would look at you and your experience and think, well, what on earth would she be afraid of? So good. That's the power of community and connection, you guys. Vicki, go ahead. Your hand is raised, Vicki Meister.
Okay, super fast. It's almost a ditto of what Lauren said. We are so not alone in our fears. If we can just bring them to the people that we trust and care about, that are fellow coaches and even clients. Oh my gosh, that was 4 people. We've all had the same fears. So anyway, just so grateful for that. So grateful for the affirmation of that.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, it's always what do they say? Knowledge is one thing, doing is another. So I would encourage you to maybe text your coach what you identified your fear as and what are you going to do next. I also would encourage you to have a session with your coach. Next mentor session, let's talk about your goals. Let's get crystal clear on that, because until we know where we're going, that noise will just keep staying louder and louder. So my final quote, I was all into these quotes on excuses, but my final quote for tonight said, excuses make sure your life ends up in the same place as it was yesterday. So thank you guys for being willing participants, for all the things tonight. I really, really enjoyed this time with you and growing with you. We are not going to meet next week. It is Labor Day on Monday. So enjoy that time with your family. Use our Facebook group for ongoing communication in the meantime. And we will see you next time. Bye, guys.